Session 2, January 20th, 1981. There are few who will grasp, without significant distortion, what Ra will communicate, Ra states. If the group chose to share this information with others, Ra believes this would be most helpful in regularizing and crystallizing our own patterns of vibration upon the levels of experience of life. If one is illuminated, are not all illuminated? To teach and learn is the law of one in one of its most elementary distortions. Ra asks that in giving this information, to not stress. The teach and learning, which is Ra's responsibility, is philosophical, which is the study of the fundamental nature of knowledge, reality, and existence, rather than historical. Ra is the confederation who, 11,000 years ago, came to two of our planetary cultures who at the time were closely in touch with the creation of the one creator. It was Ra's naive belief that they could teach and learn by direct contact, and the free will of individuals wasn't in danger. Since all is one, to teach is to learn. They didn't think that they would be disturbed, as these cultures were already closely aligned with the belief in the liveness or consciousness of all. They came and were welcomed by the peoples they wished to serve. They attempted to aid them in technical ways through healing of mind, body and spirit, complex distortions, through the use of crystals, appropriate to the distortion, placed within a certain appropriate series of vibrations of time and space material. Thus, the pyramids were created. Ra attempted to contact the rulers of Egypt, or in some areas called the Holy Land. They found that the technology was reserved largely for those in power. This was not intended by the law of one, so they left Egypt. The sixth density group that worked with those in South America didn't give up so easily. They returned. Ra did not. However, Ra never left our vibration due to their responsibility for the changes in consciousness they first caused, and then found distorted in ways not relegated to the law of one. In the 18th dynasty, Ra was able to contact Pharaoh. Pharaoh was described by Ra to be small in life experience and called a wanderer. Thus, Pharaoh received their communication and was able to blend his distortions with Ra's. The young Pharaoh Ammon was given the honor of a prosperous god. Pharaoh decided that this name, being in honor of one among many gods, was not acceptable for inclusion. Thus, he changed his name to one that honored the sun disk, called Aten, which was a close distortion to Ra's own reality as they understand their own nature of mind, body, spirit complex distortion. However, it does not come totally into alignment with the intended teach and learning that was sent. This entity, Ikhenaten, became convinced that the vibration of one was the true spiritual vibration and thus decreed the law of one. However, this entity's beliefs were accepted by very few. His priests gave lip service without seeking spiritually. The people continued in their beliefs. The people continued in their polarized beliefs of many gods until Muhammad delivered the peoples into a more intelligible distortion of mind, body, spirit relationships. The principle of crystal healing is, well, based upon an understanding of the hierarchical nature of the structure of the physical body. There are crystals that work upon the energies coming into the spiritual body, and then ones that work upon the distortions from spirit to mind, and others that balance the distortions between the mind and the body. All of these crystal healings are charged through purified channels. Without the relative crystallization of the healer working with the crystal will not be properly charged. The other ingredient is the proper alignment with the energy fields of the planet and the holistic or cosmic distortions or streamings that enter the planetary aura, with an appropriate ratio of shapes and placement being of indicated aid in the untangling or balancing process. The delicacy of the choosing of the crystal is, honestly, very critical, and a crystalline structure such as a diamond or ruby can be used by a purified channel who is filled with the love and light of one, in almost any application. This takes initiation, and there never have been many to persevere to the extent of progressing through the various leavings which initiation causes. The larger pyramids were built by Ra's ability using the forces of one. The stones are alive. It hasn't been understood by the people of our culture. The purposes of the pyramids were two. Firstly, to have a properly oriented place of initiation for those who wish to become purified or initiated channels for the Law of One. 2. Ra wished then to carefully guide the initiates in developing a healing of the people who they sought to aid, and of the planet itself. Pyramid after pyramid charged by the crystal and initiate were designed to balance the incoming energy of the one creation with the many and multiple distortions of the planetary mind, body, and spirit. Ra was then able to continue work that brothers within the Confederation had effected through building of other crystal-bearing structures, and thus complete a ring of these about the Earth's surface. Ra stated that the instrument, Carla, wasn't being used correctly and therefore experiencing unnecessary fatigue. The vibrations may be purified by a simple turning of the circle of one and by saying, okay, so, question, what is the law? The law is one. Next, why are we here? We seek the law of one. Why do we seek Ra? Ra is a humble messenger of the law of one. Rejoice then and purify this place in the law of one. Let no thought form enter the circle we have walked about this instrument, for the law is one. The instrument at this time should be in trance. The proper alignment is the head pointed 20 degrees north by northeast. This is the direction from which are less distorted, are emanating, and this instrument will find comfort therein. This is a sensitive instrument, meaning the distortions that enter her mind, body, spirit complex come from any of her senses. So, yeah, it is well to do the following. First, place at the entity's head a virgin chalice of water. Next, to the center, the book most closely aligned with the instrument's mental distortions, which are aligned most closely with the law of one. That being the Bible that she touches most frequently. For me, Jordan, it would be these 5 condensed Law of One books that I published. Third, to the rear of the book symbolizing one, open to the Gospel of John chapter 1, a white candle. And finally, the instrument would be strengthened by the wearing of a white robe, covered and prone, the eyes covered. Though this is a complex activity or circumstance and may seem very distorted from a teach or learning experience, these elaborations on the technique of trance will ease the mind as they perceive improvement in fatigue. If these teach or learn sessions are held at night, it is best to hold the sessions before the sun comes out.